talking about the source, there's they call it the Source Awards situation.
Right.
And granted, there was more than one Source Awards, but everyone always talks about that one Source Awards.
Right.
The one when Suge Knight came on stage, and it was the start of what people like to call the East Coast West Coast beef.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Did you have a relationship with Suge before that happened?
Nah, me and Suge seen each other in passing, you know what I'm saying? It was a mutual respect. At that point, when I was doing Source Magazine, I was getting it. You know what I'm saying? I was pretty big in the industry, so then he had Death Row, so it was a mutual respect. Everybody had to come through the Source, everybody. So yeah, that was a moment in time, the awards where, but a lot of people kind of talk about the drama, but at that awards was some of the best performances probably ever. I mean, Death Row came out where they had all the jail and everybody came out, all the cells. That's where all of them, the Dog Pound, Quick, Snoop, Dre, I mean, everybody was there on one stage. Rage, you know what I'm saying? So that was dope. And then when Bad Boy came out, it had everybody, Biggie, Junior Mafia, Total, 112. I mean, this was probably one of the times where everybody performed. I mean, a lot of times you didn't see no performances like that because it was hard to get everybody together on one accord. And we pulled that off a few times. When you look back at the Source Awards, more than anything, probably seen some of the best performances when crews were all together. I mean, when Cash Money was all together, when Bone Thugs was all together. I mean, when you look back, these were times where all of our favorite and legendary groups were all still together. Wu-Tang Clan was all together in the first one, we did, one that Bernie Mac had hosted. So it was, these were like legendary classic moments in hip hop that could never be emulated. And, I'm just so happy that I was a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I could say that,
Now, I heard that the Suge spent $100,000 at the awards.
Spent a lot of money. Yeah, because that performance was crazy with the electric chair, and I mean, it was bananas. You know what I'm saying? Like, they spent a lot of money to go out there and, I mean, yeah, all of them did. But Death Row, I think that year, the way they did it and how they set it up with the jail in the background, and that was crazy.
What I always found interesting about the Source at its height, and I don't think it applies anymore, but at its height, the Source had the unsigned hype.
Right.
And if you ended up in the unsigned hype, that guaranteed you a major label record deal.
Well, I mean, maybe not necessarily, but it had everybody looking at you. Biggie, I mean, Matty C was the one, what I'm saying, really, that was doing the unsigned hype, and other editors got involved after that, but Biggie, Mobb Deep, Eminem, Common, I mean, there was a few, I think DMX, there was a few really great ones that came through unsigned hype. And at that time, the whole unsigned thing and the whole theory of it was brand new. These are unsigned artists, and at that time labels were signing. So labels would kind of look to us. It wasn't no YouTube or nothing at that time. It wasn't no social media. So they was looking to us, just like they was looking to us for the mic ratings and looking to us for a lot of things. I mean, the Source was ahead of its time. The Source was the Bible of hip hop. I mean, the information, if you wasn't, at that time, New York was like the Mecca, so if you wasn't living around New York, this was the way you really understood and knew what was going on. And the biggest thing about the Source that was important that I don't think it's enough notoriety is the politics. The politics of hip hop was big. Hip hop came in with politics. It was a movement, and it did have political ramifications with it. And that's why Chuck D and the X-Clan and all these different conscious rappers of what's going on, flourished in these times, because at that point, that was our voice. That was our voice of, so if there was police brutality, then somebody in hip hop would step up. The whole self-destruction movement with KRS-One. KRS came out criminal-minded with the gun and everything, and as he progressed, his message was, we need to unify, put the guns down, stop violence. And it was okay to listen to songs like that. Whereas now, nobody wants to hear that because maybe it sounds corny, it doesn't sound hard over a hard beat. A message now gets kind of lost in music. So it was an important time. It's funny because I got the awards right over there too. If you got one of these, you know what I'm saying? Then you was major. You was major if you got, and you was proud. You was proud as hell. I mean, come on, we actually gave hip hop a voice, man, and gave these artists from the streets a chance to shine in a national spotlight. Nobody did that. I think people wanted to, but they were too scared. Nobody could really organize all these street dudes to come up there because they was too scared thinking what was gonna happen. And yeah, we had little fights here and there and situations, but nobody got killed, you know what I'm saying? Nobody got killed, and there wasn't no major arrests or anything. I mean, we had a few incidences, but on the most part, for the Source, all those awards to kind of go off like they did, for them to be organized the way they was, again, these are street dudes, and not just the artists, they're bringing their entourage. So to organize street dude, you have to be a street dude. And I think that's where my involvement was good because, between me and Dave, and we had a lot of help, a lot of great people that worked at the Source magazine that actually went on to do amazing things. I mean, when you look at the Source alumni, they're doing movies, they're in major labels, they're in major advertising companies. These people went on to do major things, so.
Yeah. Well, what do you think caused the initial beef between the Source and XXL? Because I was always a fan of both.
It really wasn't, it's not a beef. It's just the fact, they copied us, you know what I'm saying? It was like, they basically copied the magazine. I guess hip hop was so big that you figured, hey, just like Coke and Pepsi. Coke was such a big thing that Pepsi said, hey, come on, whoever was first said, hey, there's enough money for everybody. And I understood it, but it necessarily wasn't a beef. The situation when Elliot put some disrespectful shit in there with me and my son, that's when I went over to the office and I had to what I'm saying, I had to do what I had to do. But that was only because of him being disrespectful. It wasn't no beef. I think beef is just used so much, man, like overused, man. It wasn't a beef. We was getting money, they was getting money. They basically copied the blueprint and there it was. They hired people from the Source, Harris Publications that put out XXL. See, the Source was owned by me and Dave. Harris Publications, they was putting out Field and Stream magazine.
Yeah.
Hunting magazines and
Guns
Home
and
Shopping
Ammo.
Network magazines. They didn't know
Yeah.
nothing about hip hop. They just knew they was making money. We're gonna copy them. Let's go. Hire a few people over there. Let's go. And that's how XXL was born.
What didn't the original XXL founders come from the Source?
No. Harris Publication did that. Harris Publication again was.
So nobody at XXL used to work at the Source?
Elliot Wilson and a few of the editors, but they were hired. It's not like anybody went over there, they hired, then they started it. No.
Okay, no, that's what I'm saying. So Elliot Wilson used to work at the Source.
Of course, that was lunch meat. He used to go get the blunts and the sandwiches.
Okay, I remember there was some sort of story where I guess someone else had gone over to XXL, but they wouldn't give him ownership, so they gave it to Elliot to run.
I don't know, to be honest. I just know that when they came out, it's not like they hired somebody, then somebody gave them the blueprint. They just looked at the magazine and said, hey, we're gonna copy what they're doing. That's it. As far as who owned it and I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, well, it was ultimately Harris Publication. I've been there a bunch of times.
Yeah.
I've had meetings with the publisher.
Yeah, these guys knew nothing about hip hop. They was not involved in the culture or nothing. That I do know.
But ultimately, they ended up getting sold to another company.
Right. Yeah, it's over. It's a wrap for the hip. XXL is just the online thing now. You know what I'm saying? It's in the graveyard of magazines now.
Pretty much. I think XXL has the freshman issue, and that's That's pretty much what they have right now.
Right.
That's the one thing they can hold on to.
Right. And that
Whereas-
to me is just like, I mean, I don't, I guess, you know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, like some of those guys that be on, it's like, really, for real. But in all fairness to them, it's hard picking because there's so many dope MCs now. So it really is going to be like one's preference. So you're never going to make everybody happy. So I can understand that too. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, if you look at where the source is these days, does it kind of hurt your feelings a little bit to know that it used to be at this such an important spot in hip hop, and now
what I've learned, Vlad, is that everything is what's meant to be, and you can't live with regrets. You can't live with the woulda, shoulda, couldas. You just gotta look at it for what it was, in the natural progression of life. Every day is a new day, and how things happen is how they happen. The internet came and basically is wiping out magazines. And you're getting information like this now, whereas back then, you're reading information at 30 days, you're reading information. Now it's 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Every 30 days a new magazine comes out. Now every 30 seconds there's a new breaking news. So, that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? And I don't live with regrets, man. I've been through so much, you know what I'm saying, that I just take it as it comes. And I'm just trying to stay a step ahead of the curve. I'm just trying to really, always keep my mind in a positive place so I can think enough to be creative enough to make things happen. I've always been a creative person. And I've always, you put that with experience and common sense and just organization, man, you can move mountains, you know what I'm saying? And I've learned to have patience, and I've learned not to be greedy. And I've learned a lot of things, being 51 years old, man, come on, you know what I'm saying? And I've been in hip hop, listen, even before the source, my grandfather stayed on Cedar Avenue. That's damn near where hip hop was, discovered. Man, I was spinning on turntables at 11 years old on 2 Gemini turntables, cutting Gloria Gaynor's To Be Real in my uncle's basement in my grandfather's house in the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? In 1976.
what do you think about the whole situation?
Man, my point of view, man, I really feel like they tried to paint a bad picture on my brother and try to make him look like he was a hater. It was some envy, jealousy type shit, you know what I'm saying? And actuality, you know what I'm saying? Bro been having this shit, man. He been in the condo.
I got my hat on and I had my Coke bottles up under my hat. And I'm sitting at the dinner table like an asshole with the hat on, knowing she gonna tell me to take it off. And I'm just sitting there just gawping down, in my zone. She said, take that goddamn hat off at the dinner table. I'm like, come on, Mom. Coke everywhere.